A tribe that sacrificed travelers to their goddess Kali, the Thuggee tribe were a group of Indians that originated from northern India. Dating back as far as the 17th century and up to the 19th century, they had a reputation of being a group of killers. Although some information on the Thuggee tribe is lost in history, what is known about them would leave you intimidated to cross their paths. Today I talk about what is known about the tribe and some of the conspiracies regarding their practices. Known as a criminal organization filled with criminals and assassins, they were very skilled with coordination and teamwork among their members. Nicknamed as thugs, they were good at gaining travelers' trust by pretending to join their group. In fact, they would wait until the travelers were at their most vulnerable to strangle them quietly, using handkerchiefs, rope, rumal, or nooses. Afterwards, they would rob them of all of their possessions. Several members would take special roles in infiltrating the travelers' group. Some would act as the lookout, the charmer, or even the killer themselves. However, stealing wasn't their only reason to commit murder. They also killed people for their goddess Kali. Kali, the Hindu goddess of death and destruction, was perceived to be satisfied with offerings of slaughter and chaos. Therefore, the Thuggee practiced ritual murder by sacrificing any accessible witnesses or travelers they passed, mainly using methods of strangulation as well. They deceived many and tried to become as friendly as they could with people they met, hoping to be able to strangle them and rob them later. Mainly a huge contribution to their high death counts were their strict rules. Really, one of their most important rules was that no witnesses were to ever be left alive after leaving a scene. Actually, the only time they were survivors was if children were present that could be used for recruiting purposes and to avoid suspicion. Therefore, their death count ranged from 50,000 victims to over 2 million. According to Lakshmi Gandhi, Mark Twain wrote about Thuggees briefly in his 1897 travelogue. Here is a paraphrased version of what he stated. "The joy of killing, the joy of seeing killing done. These are the traits of the human race at large. Thugs fretting under the restraints of a not very thick skin of civilization." Perhaps referring to how Thuggees were known to be great at manipulation, they could hide in the midst of civilization while they still continued their acts of murder. In continuation, they were traced back to 7 different Muslim tribes, and additionally had hints of Hindus intermingled amongst the organization. Following, although the variations of culture could cause issues within the group, they mostly persevered through their differences. As a matter of fact, their differences really just contributed with adding a basis to their actions through the introduction of the goddess Kali. On the other hand, what ended up unifying the Thuggee the most overall was their similar beliefs regarding superstition and rituals. Surprisingly, one of their beliefs prevented them from killing certain groups of people. For example, sick people were considered an unworthy sacrifice, and women were not to be killed because they were seen as incarnations of Kali. Besides those limitations, though, the Thuggee were very successful in their ritualistic and thieving purposes. Truth be told, they really believed that they were contributing to a good cause by balancing out the forces of good and evil. Nevertheless, their good fortune ended when the British discovered their presence by the 1830s. This led to them being killed or turning against each other. As a matter of fact, halfway through the 18th century, over 4,000 Thuggees were discovered, 2,000 were convicted, and the rest were sentenced to death, relocated, or died in hiding. Unfortunately for the Thuggee, they became inactive by the end of the 19th century at the most. Some conspiracies regarding them ranged from believable to pure fantasy. The more believable theories regarding the Thuggee were that they were anti-colonial agitators. Further, this could be believable when looking back at their violence towards travelers. However, some theories regarding their ritualistic practices don't seem to have any evidence behind them. Following, some people believe that the females of the group indulged in excessive sex for worshipping purposes, but there's no basis behind these ideas I've noticed. Personally, I'd say that the Thuggees' violence could have been exaggerated due to them being active a long time ago. Perhaps some of the true facts of the Thuggee could have been lost throughout the passage of time, but all we really know is what they desired and what they did to gain those impulses. In conclusion, the Thuggee were a group of Indians that originated from various tribes that integrated their beliefs to form a cohesive basis behind their group's intentions. Trying to balance out the opposing sides of good and evil, they committed ritualistic murder for their goddess Kali. Mainly targeting travelers and vulnerable individuals on passageways, they accomplished their missions of murder, robbery, and deceit using methods of manipulation and extensive teamwork. Generally, they were successful in their attempts to blend in with civilization until the British killed them off by the 18th century. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video about Thuggee. It was inspired by The Little Book of Secret Societies by Joelle Levy, and I would definitely recommend reading that if you're interested. Anyways, thank you for listening once again, and please subscribe if you don't want to miss my next video, and also turn post notifications on and leave a comment. Thanks again, and be careful next time you're traveling.